So what's up, everybody? JD here, and I'm here to do a quick book review of Book 2, The Silver Thief on the Cycle of Galand, which is technically Book 5 of the full series. There's the first series, which is The White Tree, The Great Rift, and The Black Star, which is the Cycle of Rond. The Cycle of Galand starts off with the Red Sea, and now we are reviewing The Silver Thief. In The Silver Thief, Galand has returned back from the Plagued Islands. He is chasing Gladdock. Blaze is with him. They try to attack Gladdock in his home in Bressel and end up fighting something they have no idea what it is. All he knows is Gladdock turned into a demon, right? So they hear that Gladdock is going to the Galand Basin. So they follow him to the basin. And they come there as followers of Coverhall under discretion, so people don't know who Galand is. And they end up getting in a quick trouble right away because Galand saves this guy, and apparently the Galand Basin, it's honored to die by the Malish, or for people from Bressel. And so they end up getting in kind of a predicament where Blaze ends up fighting with a weapon he's never fought with before and loses. So Dante challenges it again, and using the nether, he ends up sticking this chick in the ground named Cord. And the battle was to death. And so technically he wins because she ain't going to ever get out unless he lets her out, because he literally sunk her up to her neck. They come to a barter, they come to a deal, and he lets her go. So he ends up trying to find the keeper, and they kind of end up accusing him of being a servant of Bressel because he follows the Malish to a cabin, and that's where they've got all these snails stored, which are the ones from the Plagued Islands. And he ends up getting away by taking him through a giant spider-infested field. That's how he gets rid of them. If I'd say Dante's and Blaze's adventures were boring, they're really not. It's actually a really good story. Anyway, Dante ends up fighting Gladdock twice and ends up learning that the demon that he created is called an Andract, and it's from traces of human death. So you have two powers in the world if you've been following me. There's Ether and there's Nether. And Nether is death and rebirth, and Ether is life. So they end up learning that Gladdock is taking these traces and combining and creating this demon called an Andract. And they create a mini one and learn how to fight it and beat it. So that's how they end up foiling Gladdock's plan. Gladdock ends up in return getting pissed off and fleeing, technically, to a place called Tanar, and the captain ends up following him too, leaving Dante and Blaze in the Galand Basin trying to figure out what is going on. So in return, they end up bumping into this lady, working out a deal. I don't remember the major details of the deal, but they end up working out a deal, and it's basically they're going to chase the Spice Runner and help this lady become a top person in this place. Then they get a message that the captain, Naren, has been taken hostage. Blaze and Dante decide, well, guess we're going to Nartane to rescue our friend and follow Gladdock. This is where we get introduced to another character. Her name is Rasha. Rasha is a thief, and she works for a group, and they have a rivalry with the Little Knives, and there's a huge war going on in the streets. In the process, Rasha learns through her leader that Glenn has been gone for a long time, Blaze has been gone for a long time, yada, yada, yada. And she breaks into the sealed citadel. Well, you can't walk through a fucking door. It's called the sealed citadel for a reason. It's sealed. She finds a back door, and because she is just like Blaze, she can walk through stone. Is basically how it works. She can walk. She can disappear in the nether and then walk through stone. She ends up stealing Dante's bone sword, which is from the White Tree. This pisses Dante enough to change his plans from going to Tanar to coming back to Rashtovic to find Rasha. And he ends up at the very end finding Rasha. And he decides instead of killing Rasha, he's going to train Rasha. Because Rasha is a very, very powerful Nethermancer. But she is completely out of control. She has no control over her powers. And at the same time, he has an apprentice named, I think his name's Sorensen or Soren. And he has Rasha and Soren go with him, and he ends up starting to train him in the Nether. What's going to happen is Rasha and Soren are going to be his eyes in Bressel. They are going to be his infiltrators in Bressel, while he goes to the Plague, or not the Plague Islands, he goes to Nartane. So, in a couple days, or actually probably tomorrow, I will review The Wound of the World, Book 3 of the Cycle of Galand. Peace.